So these are great people who are not so great. And a lot of issues I have with like videos like these is that the great people are not so great, not because they contradicted their main statements like Martin Luther King and Mahatma Gandhi was about peace, but I didn't see any articles about, I don't know, Martin Luther King and Mahatma Gandhi beating up a puppy or something that's against like their personal peace statements or funding a war in Sudan or something like that. I just see like a lot of personal stuff that is quite personal. And since that it has to deal with people who've been dead for 70, 80 years, we can't really question them or draw eyewitnesses because the people who would have been victims of their sexual misconduct are dead. So you can't really question the dead like that. So even if these people did something, it's not like we can question the victims or stuff like that. Like the victims and the perpetrator are both dead. So we can't question the victim. We can't tell them to add any proof to anything their statements is because they're dead. It's all hearsay.
For his powerful and inspiring speeches protesting the injustices black people face in America, MLK is rightfully at the top of many lists when it comes to history's greatest people. But if there's one thing
I
confirmed
like how everybody in this picture is wearing a hat except for MLK. It really helps him stand out.
that he's still just a human, it was women. Throughout his life as a civil rights leader, women in the movement have been consistently put on the sidelines.
Yes, but was that the direct fault of MLK? Like, did he have co-women leaders that he actually like put towards the sideline or pushed them towards the sideline because he was solely a sexist? Or did he shine above them because it was the 1950s and it was hard for a female voice, yet alone a black female voice, to actually rise above the occasion and actually get like huge press and articles on her? Because thanks to patriarchy, which is as strong as racism, they're going to show a black man more than they would show a black woman at this time. And did we have a female equivalent to MLK that spoke as well or even better as MLK? Like, is there like a female K? Like, is there a female K that actually was like speaking as better or as good as MLK? Like, that's my issue.
Figures such as Ella Baker and Dorothy Height describe their personal experience.
Okay, I have not heard of these women whatsoever. Ella Baker and Dorothy Height. Like, I'm very skeptical that they were actually like women. Like, well, I shouldn't be. I'm just gonna look them up. All right, so I looked up these respected ladies, and to take nothing from them, but they were pretty late to the movement. Like when it came to Baker, she joined in like 57, and Martin Luther King was already popular by then. And Mrs. Dorothy Height, she was fighting for women's rights. Dorothy Heights fighting for women's rights, which was a niche that was already pretty filled by Karens and white women. So when you specialize yourself to these particular niche rights, like you don't see MLK fighting for men's rights. He fought for civil rights. He fought for humanity. So I have never heard these women speak, but I'm pretty sure they're not as good as a MLK, with all due respect. But did MLK hold these women back personally, or did he work with them, work uh work work aside with them? Like, was it MLK's fault that these women did not rise to such prestige that he did? Or was it just that these women just didn't have the vocals or didn't have the skill like MLK, and thus they did not arise as fast as he did.
Of often being made subordinate to male leaders like MLK, despite the fact that they were the
Yes. Less of making subordinate and more of MLK was way more talented than you. And he sacrificed way more. He sacrificed his life while a Dorothy Height lived to be like 100 or something like that. So he was a martyr for civil rights. So anybody who dies for a cause, then they're more than likely going to like surpass you in people's minds. Just like J, just like JFK surpassed LBJ, even though LBJ did a lot of the legwork.
same skin color, fighting for the same cause. I guess when he gave it.
Well, I don't know. I didn't see MLK explicitly fight for women's rights. Not saying he didn't, but I didn't see him explicitly fight for women's rights like a Dorothy Heights did.
Famous I Have a Dream speech and declared that all men are created equal. He really only meant that all men are created equal.
Wow, what a horrible like joke. Like, oh, MLK was sexist because a woman didn't surpass him. Like, are we really kidding? Like, was it explicitly MLK's fault that these two women, and he only named two women, there were other women in the struggle. Like, what about a Rosa Parks? Like, why didn't you name her? Or what about a Cecil B. DeMille or something like that? Like, what about these women? Like, how come you didn't name other like women other than these two obscure names?
And he wasn't much better with women in his personal relationships either, having been a serial cheater to his wife up until his assassination. In fact, as a deeply religious figure,
supposedly, I hear that the FBI tapped him having sex or something. First of all, I wouldn't know if I don't trust anything from the FBI. So even if they have a person who sounds like MLK having sex, they could have hired a voice actor for all I know. Like, show me some video, guys. Well, not me personally, but if video leaks out, like actual like visible video, then that would be some proof.
MLK himself recognized the sinfulness of his infidelity and reportedly felt unworthy of the many accolades people place upon him.
Well, at least he acknowledged like his sin, and at least he acknowledged and was a humble person about how he sinned. If he did, because I hear a lot of rumors that MLK cheated on his wife, but I see little to no proof of this whatsoever. Like, where's the proof? Where's the audio? Where's the video? Where is the messages? Where? Where is the video? Like, where is any of this proof that MLK cheated on his wife? Like, all he has to loosely connect how these women failed to equal MLK was the fact that he may have cheated on his wife because the FBI has some grainy audio. They could have audio, but it hasn't been released. Like, even if they have audio of somebody who sounds like MLK having sex, it could have been a voice actor. Like, I need video too. And it's like the 1960s, so I don't know if it's going to be the best video quality, but they could have hired a voice actor. And even if we have visual, like, they could have hired like an actor. Like, it's the 1960s. It's not going to be that good of graphics. It's not going to be that good graphics when it comes to like this situation. But I don't know how this is at any MLK's fault. Like, I get these women did not rise to an MLK, but did they get shot? Did they get stabbed like MLK did? No. They were just one drip in the sea when it comes to like civil rights. There are thousands of civil rights leaders, both men and women, which we do not have the pleasure of knowing. because most likely they didn't die like MLK. And I'm gonna leave it at that.